So, good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and the result will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. So, good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to actually talk a little bit about Chin Liang Shi, who just came back to the monastery, and it's nice to have his presence being in the ceremonies around lunchtime, helping out. And I want to read something that his daughter-in-law wrote about her father-in-law that I just received. And when I read it, I was actually quite touched. So I wanted to read it for everyone, maybe inspiring for you as well. So this is what she wrote in Chinese. 他是我的家公，也是我的老师。他教会我什么是活到老学到老。他让我相信，信念和 lifestyle 是可以改变的，无论你活到什么年龄。So translation into English is, He is my father-in-law and my teacher. He taught me what it is to live and learn, or say lifelong learning. He made me believe beliefs and lifestyles can be changed, no matter how old you are. Let me just say a little bit about that. So Chin Liang Shi is the grandfather. I believe 3 of his grandchildren actually went to the boys and girls school at the 7,000 Buddhas. His son-in-law and his daughter-in-law took the lay bodhisattva precepts with them, so clearly they're quite devoted to the Dharma. But I think here what's really striking is Chin Liang Shi's attitude towards learning. I've been in the monastery all these years. I see he's curious, wants to learn, regardless if it's something to do with technology or the ceremonies or just learning something new to help out at BBM. You have this attitude from him that, I'm here to learn. And the next one I think is very striking. Clearly Chin Liang Shi is older as a grandfather. And I don't know it in many monasteries, it's actually not easy for somebody to leave home at an old age. Why is this? I've asked some of the senior monastics, and people would tell me that it's because when people get older, you get more set in your ways, and it's hard for people to really change. And so they say, well, people, when they're leaving home and younger, it's usually better. This is kind of maybe say the word in the street or the word in the monastery. But if you look at the Buddha's life, there were clearly many people who left home when they were older, also under Master Hua. And so I don't, I can say, I don't maybe won't make any evaluations on age, but I could say that with Chin Liang Shi is that his daughter-in-law said. He came into the monastery and is very willing to accord with what we're doing. Now, this is a different culture. He grew up in Malaysia. And, many different kinds of people staying here. Jing Shi from Taiwan, Chin Liang Shi, myself, kind of ABC, an American, Jing Shi, Poland, Reverend Shi, fully American. So there's so many different communities here, and he's able to accord with everyone. And he's also able to put himself into the rigors of the monastic schedule to really learn the precepts and be dedicated to the Dharma. So I really can see that quality. And the next one she talks about is, so regardless of how old we are, we can change. I think that's a good principle. Then she keeps going. 一般人的认识里面，出家是逃避世界和现实的选择。我也曾经这样认为，直到我遇上法界佛教总会和万佛圣城的教育。So that some people think that becoming a monk is escaping the world, the choice to escape the world. Says, I used to think this way as well until I met DRBA and the city of 10,000 Buddhas, especially the education. 当我看到我家公如何一步一脚印克服所有困难，尤其是体力和生活习惯，并在美国和马来西亚的道场，面对各种文化和制度上的差异，还能从容地面对一切挑战，坚持到底。我真正明白了佛经所说的一切唯心造。When I saw my father-in-law take step after step, overcoming all difficulty, especially in terms of physical strength and living habits, regardless if it's in the United States or in Malaysia, facing various cultural differences as well as organizational differences. He's willing to face all these challenges calmly and with perseverance. Now I truly understand the Buddha's teaching, how everything is created from the mind alone. And so yeah, I can see this. So when Chin Liang Shi here came to the monastery, I would say honestly, he's perhaps the most diligent one here. In terms of getting up for morning ceremony, doing all the daily practices, doing the daily work, making sure the monastery is secure. And when he was in Malaysia, and when we would talk with him, he would say, yeah, I joined in your morning ceremony even when he's in Malaysia. So we do all the ceremonies in the monastery in Malaysia, and he would join in online too for the BBM morning ceremony. So do 2 morning ceremonies a day. And just that attitude of working really hard. Then it says, continues, 他时以时的谈定的笑容，不抱怨，不多说，默默I don't know what that one's，勤劳出播，遵守戒律，虚心向学，总于如愿以天 获得大法师们的认同，破裂须一位老人家皈依佛门，未成一位出家人。So, sorry, my Chinese isn't so good. With his smile, he doesn't complain. He doesn't say too much. He works silently, works hard, follows the precepts, learns with humility, and he finally got his wish and obtained the approval of the Dharma masters, making an exception to allow an old man to become a monk. So yeah, it's very true that through his, dedication, it's quite, people can see that. And so it's okay, yeah, that you really want to walk this path. We're willing to support. 今天他已经飞往美国，继续在道场付出和修行。他的故事成为了我们家的典范，更提醒了我这一生来的娑婆世界的使命。Today he has flown to America. Actually, now he's arrived at Berkeley Monastery and continued to give and serve in the branch monasteries. His story has become a model for our family. It also reminds me of my own mission in life in this Saha world. 如果您想所以是 here's a little bit. 如果你想了解是怎么的一个佛教院能够转化一位老人家的信念和生命，提起勇气走向清净高向之菩提道路，可以就是可以去法界佛教总会去研究。So if you'd like to know what the Buddhist school he's participating is like, where you can transform one's life from an old man to that where you're walking on the pure, noble path of awakening, you can go visit Dharma Realm Buddhist Association or come to Berkeley Monastery. But on the last one, I think there's another quality that I actually really admire about Chin Liang Shi is what he says about having a smile and not complaining. I think when you go by Chin Liang Shi, he always has a kind of a smile on his face, and I don't hear him complain. Just goes through things day after day, very steady, very patient, and just accords with conditions. And I think this is actually a real mark of cultivation. I will just finish with this. I remember Ajahn Jayasaro giving a talk on how do you measure progress in practice. And he says that sometimes we think, well, we're going to get some kind of deep meditation state. But through his many years of cultivation, he says that just goes up and down. It's different for different people. You never know what your karmic conditions are like. But he said, what I have noticed is that if we really are cultivating to find true well-being and happiness, what happens is the ordinary things that we do in life become very joyful. And so that's one quality I see in Chin Liang Shi is that he's able to joyfully do the ordinary things in life. Okay? So how about we just start sharing today? And just wanted to do that also because now Chin Liang Shi is here and people can recognize him during our ceremonies and our practices. And once we open up again, you can definitely welcome him back. Okay, Amitofo.